Hey guys, this is Brian, and we just want to let you know, make sure you watch this special interview with Sam Gilman all the way to the very end, because we got a special treat for you. And Sam's going to show you some tips and some tricks of the trade on how to be an awesome drummer, so you're going to learn from one of the best. So stay tuned. Hey everybody, this is Brian with Inspiring How You See That. We're the channel that talks about all different kinds of music and interviews some of your favorite artists. And today is a day I've been waiting for. This is my good buddy Sam Gilman, of course, of First to 11 and Concrete Castles. Sam, how's everything going?
Everything's going great. Glad to be here.
Absolutely. Thanks so much for doing this for me, man. I appreciate it.
Oh yeah, anytime.
Absolutely. We're here in Rock School Studios, which is where you guys do all your work, do all your magic. So
yeah, this is the place.
So now, and actually, what we're going to do is going to be kind of cool. So Sam and I are going to talk for a little bit. Then we're going to have him do some, some beginners drummer exercises.
Yeah, we'll get everyone going. We'll get the drum grooves turning today for everybody.
Nice. And as you guys remember, of course, we interviewed you. You guys were my first interview. And so that was back over a year ago now.
Yeah.
And we've become real good friends, all of us. And this has been amazing. And I've been excited to see you guys now with Concrete Castles coming out. So how does that feel now that not only is it a real thing, but the album has a release date? You've released 4 songs. You've got a tour coming. How's it all feel?
Well, it's weird because this has been, I'm 20 years old now, and I was 18 when this thing started to even become part of my life. So, to be honest, I think I'm just very, antsy to get it out because COVID put such a stop to things.
Yeah.
And, I know that everybody was affected, some more than others, and for, the First to 11 side of things went well. But if we're talking about just the scope of Concrete Castles, honestly, I am, getting just kind of it's about time. You know what I mean? We were supposed to be touring over a year ago. There's been 2 Aprils now that we've missed out on tours. We've had 3 different release dates for things. We could barely get into LA because of code restrictions to film the videos that we're supposed to film months ago. So it feels like just almost like a revelation that it's finally happening.
Sure.
I think to some people it would be like, oh my gosh, dream come true. And I think at this point I'm a little bit like, the dream is that it's just actually happening when we said it was going to.
Yeah.
So
now everybody else can see it and experience it.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Nice. And so the actual release date is what, September 17th?
17th, yeah.
Nice.
Mm-hmm.
So that's good. And it's coming out with vinyl, everything. This is full blown. You guys have new merch coming out.
Yeah.
So make sure you go check out Concrete Castles, and we'll put all the links below. Buy the album.
Yeah, definitely
Pre-save,
go buy the
get
album. Pre-order, pre-save, everything. Go stream it.
Absolutely. And I kind of wanted to talk about your personal journey into the band and into music. And so I know that you've got a very varied background as far as music. And what you like is across the board, which is awesome. So how did you kind of settle on being a drummer? Because I know that really wasn't your first love.
Yeah, so I grew up playing guitar. I wanted to play guitar really badly. My older brother did it, so I picked it up, started playing, kind of fell in love with it to the point where, if I was going to, a soccer camp or if I was going to, some, math club thing or something, I had my guitar with me.
Okay.
I just brought it with me everywhere, and parents would, give my parents funny looks and be like, he knows this is a hockey sleepaway camp, right? They'd be like, yes, we know. Just, let him have his guitar. And then I think next I picked up drums maybe, a couple years later just for fun because my dad played drums.
Okay.
And I really wanted to do it, and I had kind of just been teaching myself a little bit, got real lessons, fell in love with it, and then from there it just was more and more. Then I wanted to play piano, then I wanted to join an orchestra and play upright bass, then I wanted to try and play saxophone and all that stuff, and then eventually it came to the point where bands in Erie at the rock school were we need a drummer. It would be there's a group of some 8 or 9 year olds. We have just enough to make it work if you can play drums for them. Now I was if I can be the person to make this band happen to give some kids a good experience, I was I'd be happy to.
Sure.
Yeah, no problem. And also now it turns out all of the majority of the students I have are drum students. So I am kind of trying to give back a little bit of that debt to kids. And I think if I didn't teach drums, there would be pretty much nobody else here teaches drums.
Right.
So, and I really did it out of necessity too, because I know that the old drummer for First to 11, when he left for college, they needed someone. So it was kind of out of necessity, but also just it was like a very pure interest
Sure.
from the beginning.
And it worked out well, so.
It did work out well, yeah, exactly. People seem to notice, I didn't really understand this, but people seem to notice drummers like more than, I should say in my experience, I got noticed more as a drummer than a guitar player. And so yeah, when the drummer from First to 11 left to go to college, I was like, this is a perfect opportunity. I'll just step in, and it was kind of like a pretty seamless transition.
Nice.
Yeah.
Nice. So that was, what, about 4 years ago?
I think that he's going into like his senior year now. So yeah, about 4 years ago.
Okay.
Yeah.
Awesome. So you guys are actually doing another show later today. So
Yeah.
this is a few that you've been able to do now that things are starting to open up. How does it feel to be back in front of people again?
It feels good to be back in front of people, and I think that on the First to 11 front, like, I don't know, I think this is like appropriate to say, but like it is kind of nice to have that revenue come in now, because I know a lot of other musicians were, man, just kind of beside themselves, being like, that was a big part of like how I made my living, how am I supposed to, so it's nice for us that way. But it's also nice because now for First 11 we can start planning like small tours and stuff to go meet with fans, and for Concrete Castles to pretty much go out there with no intention of making money, but just to have fun and meet people. It is like, it's like the light at the end of the tunnel. So getting my feet wet with being back behind the kit and getting all of our endurance up and playing like 4-hour shows, it feels good. It feels really good.
You mentioned going on tour. And I don't know how much you can or can't say, but there was an announcement recently for Concrete Castles, a tour. Go ahead and tell what you can.
We are allowed to talk about it. So we are going on tour with Against the Current. They used to be a cover band on YouTube, and they're awesome. And every week people ask us to work with them, collab, as if we just have them on speed dial. But
you don't call up Chrissy, say, hey, what are you up to?
No. It's funny, we saw Against the Current a couple of years ago. We had probably like 250,000 subs, and we were like, we're First to 11, like, maybe you know us, maybe no. And they're like, we have no idea. We're like, okay, great. And then now here we are a few years later, like signed to a label and doing a tour with them as an original band. And now they have to know who we are.
That's right.
No, but it feels great. Against Current, we saw them. They were probably the best like live show performance-wise we've ever seen. Their covers are pretty coveted. Everyone wants to hear us play. Like, it's where they want to hear us cover their covers. Like, they're rock solid, and they're very, very, very nice people when we talk to them. Like, friendliest people ever. So I'm excited to do it. It's a perfect fit for us genre-wise. So I think everyone's gonna love it.
Yeah, I was just thinking that I couldn't think of a better band for you guys to have your first tour with. Because if somebody likes Against the Current, they're going to love Concrete Castles. I mean, it goes hand in hand, so that's awesome.
And the original tour we were going to do was going to be awesome also. But, again, the genres just maybe didn't line up quite, which I'm assuming it can help. But this is a very, safe tour. Like, I think we're pretty much guaranteed that people will like both
Exactly.
acts. And so, yeah, we're doing some fly dates. You guys can buy tickets on concretecastles.band, I believe, and there's some fly dates. Actually, I could probably tell you pretty much all the cities. It's Orlando, Dallas, Chicago, LA, Boston, New York. So, yeah, if you're near those
big areas.
Yeah, exactly. If you're near those areas, get tickets.
Nice. So, any chance of a collaboration of getting the bands together, having Audra and Chrissy sing together?
That'd be awesome. I think. We probably could. Although the only thing is, I don't really know, because I'm not really sure what Against the Current does with their cover life now. I think everything that they've ever put out exists on one channel, like originals and covers.
Yeah, I think it does.
But I don't know if like maybe their label is like maybe veer off from cover. I don't really know what their situation is, but it's possible. Who knows? It's also funny because we're like mirror images of each other. Like they're like female lead singer to a drummer guitar player, males, and that's how we are too. Both cover bands. You know what I mean? So it's interesting.
Awesome. Now, before we get going, one of the things that, and I know you guys have tried to clear up on that, there's still some confusion of what is the difference between Concrete Castles and First to 11, and what does it mean now that you're Concrete Castles?
Yeah, okay, so I'll try and clear it up as concisely as possible. First to 11 is a cover band on YouTube. It's actually weird. Every time when I get asked this, it's so, like, when somebody asks what band do you play in, it's honestly kind of a coin toss. Like, I don't really know what to say. But so First to 11 is cover band. If you guys aren't familiar, First to 11 on YouTube, covers, reimagined covers, rock band covers. There's 4 members, and then what we did was when the label was interested in us, we just kind of decided we were gonna have a name change to differentiate, and one of the people also in First to 11 would not be joining us on Concrete Castles, so we just gave them separate names, but it's 3 of the 4 same people anyway, and there will be no covers. It will be only originals.
Excellent.
Yeah.
So the great news is you're not losing anything.
No,
you're getting more of them, is all it is.
You're getting more content, actually, because still weekly uploads every Thursday at 6:30 Eastern Standard Time on First to 11 channel. And then also now you're getting Concrete Castle stuff, too. You're getting all original stuff, reimagined songs, albums, merch, vinyls, everything. Yeah.
Awesome. And Sam, before we go and you kind of show off how to be a drummer, is there anything else you'd like to say to fans?
Honestly, the only thing I'd want to say is that we've put a lot of hard work and effort into this album. And not only that, but it's been such a long time coming. So it'd mean a lot if you went and streamed it. We just put out a song called Wish I Missed You with pretty much childhood music hero of mine, Anthony Green. And it'd mean a lot if you went and streamed it. So go do that.
Absolutely. We'll put the links down. And I just want to say before we go that, this guy is one of the smartest people I've ever met. And when it comes to music theory, music inside and out, you know more than anybody I've ever met. And you can learn a ton from this guy.
Well, thank you.
And they are, I love these guys. I can't say enough how much you guys mean to me. And amazing musicians, but even better people. So thank you guys for that.
Well, yeah, we're happy to just have you hanging out and doing interviews. It's super fun.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So as always, everybody, thank you so much for spending this time. Make sure if you haven't checked these guys out, do it. We love you all. God bless, and rock on.
Hey guys, this is Sam from First 11 and Concrete Castles. I'm going to give you guys a little drum challenge for people who have never drummed before. If you have drummed before, this is probably going to be a little too easy for you, but I figured I'd give something for people to get their feet wet with it. So if you've never drummed before, I'll just give you a quick rundown of the drums we're going to be using. We're going to be using the kick drum, which is the one at your foot, the snare drum, which is the one right in front of you, and then we're going to be using 2 different cymbals today. This one's called the ride cymbal, and this one over here is called the hi-hat. The first thing we're going to do is pretty much just talk about music. You need to be able to count to 4. That's pretty much the only number you'll ever have to count to, which pretty sure most of the viewers of this channel are probably smart enough to be able to count to 4. So, if you count to 4, 1, 2, 3, 4, you can pretty much do what we're about to do. So, level 1, I guess you would say, of like the challenge is I want to have you guys put a kick drum on 1 and on 3, and a snare drum on 2 and 4. So that would mean I would go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. It seems simple, and it should. This is just like understanding how we count music. Use your left hand to hit the snare drum, by the way, because now that I'm going to show you what's happening for the next step up for this, I guess like level 2, if you wanted to call it that, is now on every single beat, I want you to take your right hand and hit the ride cymbal. And that means you're going to be hitting multiple drums at the same time. So now beat 1 will have a kick drum, like before, and it will have a ride cymbal. And then the next beat will not only have a ride cymbal, but also have that snare drum that we talked about earlier. Like that. So now our beat sounds a little bit more like a normal drum beat. So if I count us in, we'll go 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you handled that, that was pretty good. Now I'm going to show you what will probably just be the hardest thing, is the hi-hat. And we're doing the exact same thing as we did before, but the weird thing with the hi-hat is in drumming, you might think that now you switch over and your right hand plays the snare drum and your left hand plays the hi-hat, but actually we just had to cross our arms. We go right over left, And the reason we do this is because in drumming, we really always want to be having our left hand hitting the snare drum. You can play like this. It's a little weird. It's called like open-handed drumming, but we're going to do kind of traditional. This is the way that I play. So we're going to cross our hands, and we're going to do the same thing. And this is probably not going to seem that hard, but I can tell you that having taught for a lot of years, people definitely have a little bit of difficulty crossing their arms and do it. It's the exact same thing. So the hi-hat will go on every single beat. We're still hitting our kick drum on 1 and 3, and our snare drum on 2 and 4. So it should sound something like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. If you can do that, you can play AC/DC, you can play Motley Crue, you can play Kiss. You can play pretty much anything under the sun can be deduced down to that simple beat. So I hope that helped for all the non-drummers. And for all the drummers out there, maybe I'll be back on sometime. We can talk about some crazy complicated stuff. But if you can play that, you can also play most of Concrete Castle stuff. So go stream it, go learn how to play the drums, become better than me, and then put me out of business. Thanks.